In this example, we are going to do another part that is given in isometric, and we are going to draw this in oblique and this time cabinet. So cabinet is where every depth is half. So we have our heights, which are up and down on the y-axis, our widths, which are horizontal on the x-axis, and our depths, which are all at 45-degree angles. And like we've been talking so far, we're going to assume that each corner to corner is equal to 1 unit, which even though we know that length is slightly longer than this, we will say this is 1 for simplicity's sake. So what makes this example a little bit more difficult than the last one is we don't have a very obvious or easy front face to draw. So we have to look at this and say, well, the frontmost face is kind of like if you were, I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know, if you're like a dog walking with a giant stick in your mouth, and you're walking straight at this part, and the first time, or the first thing, or the first part of the part that you come in contact with, that is the first face. So if you're walking and you're a dog, so we'll call this little 7 a dog, right? And it has a giant stick in its mouth. It's gonna kind of hit both of these faces, boom, at the same time. So this back part right here, that's not the front face. This is the front face right here. Both of those things simultaneously. So we're gonna draw whatever that front face is. In this case, we have both. So I'm gonna draw a, looks like a 2x3 rectangle, most likely. Yours should be more obvious. And then we have another 2x3 rectangle over here, which seems to be 4 units away. And because we are doing height and width dimensions, everything is gonna be to true length. So 4, looks like 4 away. Okay. So now we have the 2 front faces drawn in. Next, we're going to draw, well, we can do a few different things. We're going to draw the depth lines next, which looks like to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's call it 6 for a nice even whole number. So we're assuming that this depth line right here is 6 right there, and we'll assume that this is 4. It very well might be, but it's a little hard to tell. And we're saying that this is 3, and this is 2, and we'll call, well, we know that this is 2 because it's 6 minus 4. We'll call that height 3, and we'll call the overall height 6. And maybe I'm missing a dimension here or there, but we will assume as we go along. Yours will be a little bit more obvious. So because we're doing a cabinet, every single depth dimension will be half. So right here where it's 6, we're going to call that 3. Where it's 4, we're going to call it 2. So we're going to go right here, and I'm going to say that we're going back 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And we have a height of 3, and because it's a height, you do not cut in half. Again, you only cut the depths in half. I can't say that enough times with you guys. This one goes back, looks like 2 right here before something happens. So I'm going to go back 1 because it's half of it. And I'm going to stop for a second. Next, I'm going to draw this vertical height of 3. And do I cut it in half because it's not on the front face? No, because it's a height, I always do the true length of height. So we're going to go up 3. And then we're going to go back 4, but because it's a depth, we're going to really go back 2 of them. Then we're going to go down 3, true height. And then we're going to close that off. And we do technically see that that line's there, so we can now go back and finish doing that. Okay, keep moving along. Now we're here, or right here. We're going to say that this is a length of 4. This is a length of 4, or really I should say width, and because it's a width, it's the true length of 4. This depth right here is 4, which would mean 2 units. Then let's jump to over here. Goes back 2, which means 1 because it's a depth. And then it goes up a height of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. This goes back 2 before it hits it, and it gets cut off anyway. And then this goes back 6, but after 3, it actually gets cut off, and that's all it is anyway. But even if it went further back, once it's out of your line of sight, you can kind of cut it off. And then finally, this is a width right here, so we're going to draw that. And even though it's a length of 4 for the width, we only see 3, so we're going to stop it right there. And that is how we would draw this part in cabinet.